up? It's Bryant. I appreciate you watching this. This is the final part of the Kobe's Legacy Lives On series. In the first part, I talked about the clips from my partner and I's Raising an Ace series where we referenced Kobe as a tribute to his greatness. In this part, I'm going to go into specific lessons from Kobe's life that I took. And before I go into that, I just want to say I was not a Kobe Bryant fan growing up. I didn't hate him, I just wasn't a fan. I appreciated him and respected his game, but I was a diehard Dallas Mavericks fan actually. But really the last 5 years is when I really saw a different side of Kobe, a more authentic side, him as a human being. I saw him on podcasts from Lewis Howes, Jay Shetty, The Art of Charm. I saw him speak at USC and just different talks that he did online. I really saw his side of him just manifesting his greatness day in and day out. And one thing that stuck out to me was he was just such a well-rounded and multifaceted person. He was not just a basketball player, not just a husband, not just a father, not just a business person or a filmmaker or an author, not just a student, a leader, a teacher. He really tried to be the best version of himself and master every area of his life. He had that Mamba mentality. And that's the first lesson that I'm personally taking from his life. And just always try to be the best version of yourself, be multifaceted and well-rounded on this journey. And that's why my partner and I reference him in every video, because he really tries to embody, when he was here, every character trait that he possibly could. And I really personally take that to heart. I mean, on the outside, don't just focus on career, focus on parenting and other areas of life. On the inside, don't just focus on maybe manifesting work ethic, but also kindness. You know, really try to manifest every positive mindset that you possibly can, like Kobe tried to. So to frame my next point, I just want to take us back to when we found out he was killed. So for me personally, I've never been touched by a celebrity's death like that ever before. I was really sad about it. And I remember a few days after that, people just seemed to rally together more from an emotional standpoint. I mean, online, social media, in person, I really noticed people just seemed to love harder. I think we all had that mentality that, look, if Kobe died, then any of us can. And we, I believe, took it upon ourselves mentally to be like, look, I gotta manifest the best version of myself on this earth, because I can go at any moment. You know, so I think that fact that our death date is unknown, we have to use that to inspire us, to empower us to be the best version of ourselves. And Kobe's legacy really contributes to that, because that moment in particular, I think, really led people to seeing things from a different light in terms of, look, we don't know when our death date is, so let's maximize our time on this earth. The next thing that I wanted to mention about Kobe's life was just the fact that he was able to shape his legacy the way that he truly wanted it. And this was despite setbacks along the way, particularly the 2003 sexual assault case. So it's fascinating and inspiring to me that through his efforts, character, and action, he was able to flip the script of his life to the point that when he died, everyone that knew him personally or just have heard about him were moved by it. That's so powerful. And I'm not saying he turned into a completely different person, but he was so intentional in looking at his life and like, look, I gotta manifest who I truly am on this earth. So my legacy matches who I truly am. And he was able to do that and overshadow some setbacks in his life. And that's so empowering to me, and hopefully it's empowering to you too. Like maybe you got out of prison, you can overcome that. You can overcome your past that you've been through. Maybe you've been lazy your whole life. You can overcome that and be a hard worker. Maybe you've lacked confidence. You can overcome that and gain some confidence. So you can always overcome what you've been through, right? So that's a really powerful message, because look, we're all gonna die one day and we're gonna look at the movie of our life. So what do you want to see? I personally want to see a life that really truly embodied who I am at the core. So we all have to take that to heart. We all are the director of our life, and we have the remote control, and we need to follow Kobe's example in that regard. The last thing I wanted to mention is just Kobe's aura. So what I mean by that is just seeing different interviews from him, particularly in his last few years of life. He just had a different attitude to him. He was totally at peace and content. And why is that? I think it's because he was really, truly manifesting his greatness day in and day out as his authentic self. And that's so inspiring to me. Like when I pass on, I want to be like that. I want to be chasing my greatness to the point that no matter what happens, if I die or not, I'll be okay with it and I'll be at peace. I truly believe Kobe was at peace. And who knows, maybe God was like, look, Kobe, you're so content right now, there's nothing else to do on this earth. It's time for checkout time. You've manifested your truest form. It's time to go out. You know, I don't know for certain, only God knows. But one thing I do know for certain is that Kobe's legacy lives on.